Hi folks, I'm sitting on a log and I'm trying to get comfortable with the camera, and I have here a beautiful piece. It's actually just up here where they cut a Sheoak. Can you see that red? Now, saying in a previous video, and it's still, I'm just trying to work out editing stuff, so I'm having to do the single videos at the moment, just working everything out. But you might not see it, but it's beautiful red, and you can see some of those medullary rays, that figure through the wood, but you can't probably see it on the camera there. So even though that looks like a piece of gnarly wood, it's a beautiful red figured piece of Sheoak, or Alla Casuarina. So I've sharpened my axe, and believe me when I say it's razor sharp, it shaves, especially for this stuff. I'm making a size of spoon that I'm probably going to do more of, where it's a size of, you can eat things with your hands with it, but it's also good for cooking. So it's a versatile size, and because it's not just a big humongous spoon, that I find it's people, because it's more versatile, people carry it around with them more, and because you're not focusing on carving away mass, you can focus on more detail too, so it doesn't lack anything. So yeah, I'm going to start chopping into this solid block of Sheoak. And this stuff is tough. So here we go. First, before we start, we pick where the bowl is, and usually where the bowl is. So I'm going to pick this side because it looks fairly clean grained. There's a couple little splits, but I'll have to address for sure. So I'll start carving it. Just see what we've got here for the bowl. So I've worked out this whole side is going to come off to get rid of certain split bits, and that's going to be my bowl. So it's not going to be a massive bowl, but I'll probably put a bit of depth on it. Yeah, so it looks like it's going to have a lot of character, this spoon. So I'll just take it to the bowl size over where the bowl is. You'll see what I'm doing is, if you keep watching. Oh man, that's amazing what's in there. Look at that. Can you see the figure a bit of the Sheoak? I'll try to focus that. Oh. The red seems to get washed out by the camera, but that is really, see it? It's going to make an awesome spoon. I've already made spoons out of this same wood. Phenomenal. Best spoons I've made. I've only made 2 others, small type. To be honest, I wouldn't be keen on the challenge of a big spoon with this stuff, because it adds no value to people. Don't really look at it as a size thing usually, and it's tough. It's really tough to work with, so keep that in mind. This stuff is quite, I'm just making a bit of a groove to lock into on this gnarly log. Like normally a razor sharp axe of a big ginger boy like me will cut through something like that, like butter, but this stuff is solid. So now I've got the width of the bowl up here, so that'll be essentially, you can see the spoon, that's like the spoon. So I've got a lot of cutting away to do. a lot. Oh, look at those beautiful, man, this wood, the more you, it's just beautiful. Good old Aussie wood. And it's my favourite wood, Sheoak. It's very tough. It's very brutal, but it's phenomenal in character, strength. Makes a lot of other woods seem like a different material. So, whew, I've got a lot to do here. Bear with me. I'm trying to split that bit off. Maybe I won't do that. So this is where the handle is going to be. So you see how thick it is. A lot there to chop away, believe it or not. Especially for such a gnarly piece of wood. It is tough, and oh, look at that character. It's sad because one of the bits I'm cutting away, it'll be alright, but I'm definitely cutting into the red of it. Sometimes you can't. Look at that, it's like red flesh. Look at that, you can kind of see the beautiful rays and character in there. What a piece of wood. Like, you imagine something like that polished up, and you know, if you stick around, I'll bring up previous spoons. Now, this is another video that's not posted yet that I started on this chestnut oak one, but it's a love spoon. It's got a love heart. Nice, beautiful size. You can still cook with it. Beautiful bowl, close action. See that action, nice and close. That's important. See, it works well. And beautiful wood. Beautiful wood. Chestnut oak, that one. So, if you're wondering how I learn about woods, it's a mixture between, with learning woods, it's a mixture between asking people what they know, internet, mainly internet, where I'll research things. Then you learn, once you learn the families of woods, like the speciae, like for example, even though this is called Sheoak, it's a nickname, so it's not an actual quercus. Quercus is the family, the speciae name for oak. So if you ever hear quercus, it's pretty quirky, haha. But if you ever hear the term quercus, Latin speciae name for oak, that's what it is. Believe it or not, cork tree, that's a type of quercus, so that's a type of oak. You know what I mean? It's just, it's cool knowing that. And it's, yeah, maybe it's a bit nerdy, maybe it's a bit whatever, but it's awesome. You know, suddenly you walk around in a park and stuff and you're like, oh, that's a Profiliala, you know. I'm not into the Latin terms so much. I'm not saying that doesn't matter, of course it does. I'm more just go by the nickname of the tree, the common name, so to speak. Oh man, that's phenomenal. I really wish this phone camera caught that. Like, oh man, it's got this beautiful figure going through it. So it is this. Please don't be discouraged with spoon carving. It is not even close to this hard normally. Like I said, most woods, especially if you're doing green wood carving, which I will be doing more videos of, which is, I think it's the way to go, green wood carving. Downside to it, big downside to green wood carving is you can get splits happen in a piece that you nearly finished, and then a split happens right at the bowl, and yeah, it can be real disheartening because wood can be very unpredictable. You can get a wood, never splits, but just that one piece just wanted to split. So yeah, it's greenwood carving though is a way to go. It's so much softer, and you get your wood, you cut it, it's green, you get your axe, you hack into it like I am. It's definitely easier, a lot easier, but you don't lack anything with greenwood carving. You really don't. Like, I'd never go, oh, you don't know anything because you're doing greenwood carving. Nah, that's actually the Viking style greenwood carving. That's how the Norwegian, the Vikings, the Vikings, and they talk like this. Are you a Viking? You must be. I don't trust you. Come on a raid with me. But yeah, sorry, that's a bit of my humour. But yeah, like, you got to understand, Sheoak, bull oak, which is a nickname for a species in the Sheoak family, according to the Janker scale, is the hardest wood in the world. So I'm cutting, this could be the bull oak. I haven't worked that bit quite out yet with my research, but I'm cutting one of the hardest woods in the world as far as Janker scale hardness goes, which is shooting a bearing at a certain velocity into, or a certain speed into wood. So yeah, it's tough and it's dry, so it's not wet and moisty, and but wood also shrinks a lot when it dries. It moves, it always breathes. That's why I love using natural oils on wood, because it allows the wood to move as it moves. Look at this blank. You've seen how much work I've put into that with a razor sharp, high carbon steel axe. And just to give you an example, like, this is not for the faint-hearted. Like, if you were starting out, don't get me wrong, I've seen some of my mates and friends starting out would attempt the biggest things that I didn't even like doing. Like, I see my mate carving a ladle out of almond. Now, not only is a ladle by hand tools, it's a tougher design to cut out, because you got depends on the style of the ladle. You can have a semi kind of degrees like that, or he was doing the full ladle like this, and and like, the reason why I do a lot of warnings with splitting and all that is because, and knowing when to give up, is because he ended up ditching it, and he spent hours, and it was grueling. It was hard watching him, like, it was just going at it, and he had so much passion for it because he wanted this ladle, and he wanted to be able to go, look, I mean, not only did he want to use it, but he also wanted to be able to, like, look, I made that, and it's so rewarding. But he ended up listening to me afterwards. He's like, yeah, you're right, I shouldn't have attempted that, because also the almond we were using was wet and it was still hard as nails. But I don't know if all almonds like this, or if it was the tree, or even the season, but this almond split, and it loved to split. His ladle ended up splitting to buggery. So long story short, he gave up on it, and you could tell he was like, I wish I just made a simple spoon, and that way then I could have attempted something harder, because then I would have had something to show for my effort. And don't get me wrong, it wasn't wasted, because he learnt so much, and I think that's valuable, even more valuable than a spoon. But in a sense, I mean, with knowledge you can make more spoons in a sense. So yeah, that's what happened. So yeah, guys, be realistic with yourself. You don't want to be hacking at something and then realize it's just going to fail in the end anyway. Don't get me wrong, you could go, well, I just like learning, or I like that split. But the main thing is learning and not negging out, because that'll neg you out if you're doing work for seemingly nothing. Again, you might have a lot of motivation and you're like, nah, it's a learning curve, I don't care. And that's, you know, takes all types. Oh man, this, yeah, I didn't bring my sharpening stuff to give it a sharpen, but it's all right. It's just so gnarly, you keep questioning whether your blade's still how sharp it is. Very slow process because that wood's so hard. See how it's starting to take shape? And the thing is with the axing as well, is you want to get as much as you can done with the axe. Some people will get a lot done, especially softer stuff with a sharp. And this isn't technically it isn't a proper carving axe. Does the job, tight carbon, get it real sharp. But carving ones have a bigger beard. So yeah, that's nearly there. See, I'm starting to get a nice shape going. And see, I'm hanging off the end of this thing, so I'm not choking it. I'm giving it. Be careful with this stuff. I don't wear gloves, but if you want to wear gloves and get used to gloves, do that. And it's especially when you're carving this stuff, which I might not have a video of me carving this one, but I'm sure in the future, and there is other videos of me carving stuff. But there's a natural split kind of going down this, and I want to get rid of it a bit. Right on the side there. I just don't want any splits at the end of the bowl. You can have natural splits in other places. See that split? It's black in there from just being exposed. And you just don't want that right in the end of the bowl. So the bowl's that end. The bad guys are right there. But yeah, so that's your bowl. Fairly clean bowl. Still going to be pain in the rear end to carve, but I mean, it is Sheoak, but look at that, it's tough. You just imagine when this is all, you can't, the sad thing is on my crappy camera phone, you cannot see all that detail in there. I mean, maybe you can, but it's phenomenal. Like, and look guys, you might be watching this video and you go, I want that spoon, and let me tell you, when this is done, you'll be getting an awesome spoon if that's the case. So if you ever want to bags anything I'm making, please holler out, because you're supporting me. If you donate, you're supporting me. Like, seriously guys, like, I do live in a van. I mean, I'm not going to get too personal with YouTube, but you know, things are definitely tough, and I'm pretty honest and open, but things are definitely tough, and you're supporting me, so keep in mind any donations, any things you buy off me, you're directly supporting me. And I do try to live a very generous life, so and I'm very honest with where I'm going or not going. So I hope that makes sense. And I know, you know, you guys, man, I could only imagine what some of yous, that people I'm watching, people that are watching me or, you know, supporting me, what you could be going through yourselves. And I never want to get so I don't want to get self-absorbed and self-focused where I miss what people are going through. And you know, I always want to be sensitive to a degree to people's needs and experiences. So yeah, that's a little bit personal stuff on my side of things. Look at that, oh man. And you got this variation between the sapwood and the heartwood. Now, sapwood and heartwood, so most trees, maybe all trees, probably most, some can be vary in different ways, but to the core of the tree, you've got, as a tree grows out, what was the sapwood now becomes the heartwood. So the bigger the tree, the more heartwood it has, essentially. And it's usually darker, and moisture will still go through it, but very slow, where the sapwood has got all the sap, and that's where all the stuff's moving through. I think the heartwood still can carry moisture. It's just not predominantly doing that no more. So that's why a lot of woods you'll get that variation, because of how different and more dense the heartwood is. So with bow making, with archery, generally when you do a self bow out of one piece of wood, you're using the hardwood. You're using the sapwood at the front of the back of the bow, which is what faces you if I'm holding a bow, archery bow. So that would be like your sapwood, which is flexible and you know, bends. But then behind the front of the bow, the back of the bow, which is facing me. Oh, I could be getting this wrong. Sorry guys, I could be butchering it. I do know a little bit about it, but that's your heartwood, and that's your compression. So as the bow bends, as the bow breaks, as the bow bends, that compression wood is over here, and it's get that push out, you know. So you need the flexibility with the compression. That's what makes usually makes a good bow if it's by itself, a self bow. And so a lot of good bows, probably even I would say the best bows are like laminated and stuff, where they'll mix the best woods for, say, compression with the best woods for flexibility. Like, you know, the front might be like a bamboo and the back might be like a, I don't know, like an ebony or something. But yeah, so, and another thing I want to say, I find it cute. I find people can be cute. I don't mean cute as in, you know, like in a sexual way. No. I mean, so guys, I find a lot of guys that know nothing about wood, they'll say comments like, oh, it's a hardwood. Technically, according to the Janker scale, poplar is a hardwood. That's that wood they make matchsticks with, you know. And it's, if you work with it, you'll think it's a softwood. But yeah, so if you say something's hardwood, it's like most woods in Australia, like native stuff, easy hardwoods, like phenomenal, like they're tough, you know. Red gum is very, very tough. It's very knotty. I find a lot of gums hate moisture, so they fall apart in moisture. So even though the wood can be dense, doesn't mean the dense wood is a tough wood as far as flexibility goes, or, you know, moisture resistance. So there's different, like a lot of things, wood can be, if you use it to purpose, you can get the ideal woods, but not one wood fits all, you know. Like even this, oh, that's beautiful, got all the splits out of the bowl. Even this Sheoak, it's really tough, but, you know, because it's so tough, you wouldn't want it for a lot of things. I would not hand a piece of Sheoak like this to a beginner, guys. I wouldn't. Don't get me wrong, if a beginner goes, no, I insist, right, of course, you know, I'll be like, oh, go for it. But man, like, you quickly realize, oh yeah, I would have preferred to have a spoon done. This will probably take to carve, if I was to work it out in my head, this is an exact, so don't quote me on it, but if this was the same blank as a poplar from this point on, yeah, so you got a piece of poplar wood, say wet poplar, so it's nice and soft and easy to cut, man, I'll probably do that. oh, easy, just off my head, a quarter of the time of this. So I'll give you an example. I mean, I don't do a lot of marketing with my spoons, which would probably help with putting a more realistic price for myself. So I really want to be getting at least $50 for a spoon like this. I know you might be going, oh, that's a lot of money, but it just doesn't. It's not a disposable spoon. You should have it if you use it normally. You should have it for the rest of your life, really. Where Poplar spoon, because of the time it takes to make and just durability factors, you know, I could sell that, let's say, for even $20, and that'll be a great spoon. Don't get me wrong, guys, and it'll probably last you for forever, especially if you coat it with a bit of olive oil or coconut oil every now and then, which always is good to do because it protects it. But yeah, the price difference you might go, oh, $50 to $20, but if you see the work and you hold them and you see them how they last, they're almost two different things. So keep that in mind, and that's probably a bit of tactical marketing on my side to you guys, because I think sometimes people just go, oh yeah, it's great, but it's just a wooden spoon. And as far as the layman's concerned, it's just all the same thing. But once you start to realize what something is, sometimes it will completely change not only its value to you, but yeah, it makes sense, you know. That goes with a lot of things though, you know. When you realize the value of something, you can change your whole perception of what you would pay for something as a consumer. And we're all consumers in some aspect, and you know, yeah, so I'm starting to get closer, but like I said, because it's so gnarly and it's going to be hard to do it all with the blade as it is hard with the axe, I'm better off getting as much as I can off with the axe than trying to do it all with a knife, with a blade. So I'm cutting in that bowl. Now what I'll do is I'll round it. So I clip these ends. This is probably the more easy to screw up kind of part. Because it's more touchy, and be careful when you're using sharp tools, guys. Be really careful. If you're a miner, please have your parents around. Use gloves, use protection. But yeah, just be sensible. You know, and you know, if you are a miner, you're gonna grow up one day, and you'll get to do all the things, you know, that you want to do as far as, you know, stuff adults do. You know, like, you know, you buy your own tools, you'll have your own job, you know. So don't, you know, be patient. Try to be patient. And I know how that feels because I'm ADD, and it's very easy for me to feel impatient and even bored. See, I've kind of rounded it. See, it's starting to look like a spoon, isn't it? Look at that beautiful tones. It's like a fire's just burning up the side of it. I do wonder how much my video camera on my phone is capturing. So I'm getting close to where I need it. Like I said, get nice and close, especially when it's gnarly, tough wood, hard wood. Get that axe work done, because each one of these big chips, you know how much longer it is on a blade and how much it's on your fingers. It's not just time, guys. Please don't think I'm just talking about time. It's the toll it takes on you. And believe it or not, there's another difference between, say, Poplar and this. It's the hard workload. Like, you know, you're looking at working on the same spoon size with, say, poplar, wet poplar to this, the workload will be increased by, I wouldn't be surprised if it's like by 10, maybe more, because of this wood, how tough it is. It's tough. Like, hear that? Oh, that doesn't sound, but it's like iron, you know. So it really is. It's like iron. It's like, oh, it's very similar to bone. So yeah, it's tough. And again, beginners watching this, not only do I have a hope to show you guys, hey, how valuable it is to have a spoon made out of such a hard wood and the work that goes into it. So for my own business sake, but just how, as a beginner, when you're still learning to sharpen, maybe you're still learning the tools, you're still learning everything, I would highly recommend softer stuff. Because believe it or not, even a piece of pine, you know, with some sharp tools and a bit of time, you can make a nice piece of pine spoon look amazing. And people are like, that's awesome. And to the layman, they'll be like, oh, that's awesome. It's just as good as, say, someone that's made a Sheoak spoon. But the durability factor and the figure in this wood, and, you know, how long this spoon will last to, say, a softer wood, well, that's completely different. And when you appreciate work that goes into things, that's a big one too, with the say, using a hardwood like Sheoak over, say, let's say pine or something. But yeah, enjoy the process. Just like with the gym, is you'll find the people that stick with the gym, one thing they might all have a little bit in common is they enjoy the process. So yeah, so as you can see, I've roughed out with an axe the spoon. Yeah, I reckon I'm finished with that. I'm happy with that. See the bowl? See how close I got it? Some people will probably get a lot closer, but this wood is tough and the axe is getting blunt. So cheers, guys.